Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. May the peace and blessings of Allah be on us all. There is a very funny explanation among some Muslims with regards to Nabi Isa alayhi salam when the Jews claim to have killed him on the cross. And the Holy Quran rejects that claim by giving an argument against that claim of the Jews, saying that they did not kill him, neither did they crucify him. So by hearing the phrase, they did not crucify him, some Muslims interpret that to mean he was not put on the cross at all. And one wonders how they get this kind of explanation, because we know that the fact that someone was not crucified doesn't mean that he was not put on the cross at all. So what we are going to do today is to give you a perfect explanation of the verse chapter 4 verse 157, so that you take out that dust away from your eye that he was not put on the cross at all. But that is not even more serious. The more serious part of that interpretation of those Muslims with this verse is that they have introduced something new, something known as the substitution theory. This substitution theory seeks to tell us that somebody else was replaced to Jesus. They say when the Jews were coming to arrest him, God changed his face and gave it to someone else, someone who had not claimed to be a Messiah, who had not claimed to be a messenger of God, who had not committed a crime deserving of what the Jews wanted to do to him. According to these Muslims, God unjustly changed the face of Jesus alayhi salam, who had claimed to be a Messiah, who had claimed to be a messenger, who had claimed to be a Nabi. He changed his face, gave it to an innocent person, and this third person was arrested and crucified. But for Jesus, who had made his claim, he was rather taken through the roof or through the windows into the heavens. Let me put it on record that this substitution theory has no foundation, has no basis at all in the Quran. And when we go into the verse, you will understand. What every Muslim as well as Christians should understand is that this verse, chapter 4, verse 157, is particularly speaking about the alleged crucifixion of Jesus. The verse doesn't introduce any other person apart from the Jews and Jesus and his alleged crucifixion. So everything that is spoken about in the verse is about these three: the Jews, Jesus, and the claim of the Jews that they had killed him by crucifixion. And it is this claim that Allah Almighty sought to refute. So for anybody, for want of protecting their own understanding, their own baseless understanding, which has no foundation in the Quran nor even in the Hadith, and introducing something new into the verses of the Quran, that is more dangerous and that is serious. And that is why it is important for us to understand this particular verse, because to understand the alleged crucifixion, to know the truth about it, will help you a lot in understanding religion in general. So what does the verse say?
وقولهم إنا قتلنا المسيح عيسى ابن مريم رسول الله وما قتلوه وما صلبوه ولكن شبه لهم وإن الذين اختلفوا فيه لفي شك منه ما لهم به من علم إلا اتباع الظن وما قتلوه يقينا بل رفعه الله إليه وكان الله عزيزا حكيما.
These are the verses which are presented as the mainstay of the Sunni argument against the Ahmadiyya belief that Jesus Christ, although he was saved from death upon cross, yet he died an ordinary death like all other prophets, lived a lifetime like it was, on the scale of all other prophets' lifetime, and died before the advent of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. This is our claim. Now the second part of their claim that we murdered him has its roots in the Old Testament. But if somebody dies hanging from a tree, according to the words of the Bible, if he had earlier made the claim that God spoke to him and he is a messenger of God, and yet God permitted him to die hanging from a tree or from a cross, that would be a sure sign that this man was an impostor and he has been cursed. So reaching this end, that they claim that we had murdered in Jesus Christ, the Holy Quran leaves the previous things alone and mainly takes up this issue of murder of Jesus Christ at the hands of the Jews or the Roman Empire. It's one and the same thing, in fact. So the Holy Quran says, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. They failed to murder him. They failed to crucify him. وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. But some sort of confusion, some sort of ambiguity was created whereby they thought they had succeeded in killing him through crucifixion. So a measure of their claim is right, but not entirely. Shubbiha lahum means they were in doubt. They were not sure of what had happened. They attempted to crucify him, but failed to murder him. This is the message of this verse. All right, if they failed to murder him, certainly they couldn't claim. What happened to him? The second following verse is the main controversial part of this verse between us and the non-Ahmadi Sunnis. The verse says, Bal rafahu Allahu ilayhi, or Bar rafahu Allahu ilayhi, wa kana Allahu azizan hakima. Now, the non-Ahmadi position. They say when it is said Bal, the opposite of murder, they believe is ascension to heaven. If somebody is not murdered and the Quran denies murder, rejects the concept of murder, they say the obvious opposite is ascension from the earth to heaven. This is what we do not accept, because it's absurd. So if some people are false in their claim that they had murdered someone, what would be the logical conclusion? That that person must have been lifted to the fourth heaven because he was not murdered? Absurd. So what is the meaning of this verse? Bal rafa'ahu Allahu ilayhi. First of all, I point out that this verse does not say that he was lifted to any heavenly recesses anywhere else. Allah says, Bal rafa'ahu Allahu ilayhi. But God raised him unto himself. Now this is the opposite of curse. If somebody claims that some man is cursed, and Allah rejects this claim, and he says, no, he came even closer to me after your attempted murder, this is how he would describe. Bal rafa'ahullah, Allah raised his status even higher than before. There is no six-dimensional world the Holy Quran is talking about. There is no heaven, no earth, which is spoken of.
Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله